Oh, going live for whoever gives a crap. Nah, going live. Anyone that wants small recaps of bullshit, Elon's bullshit, and some gaming stuff. My Twitch drama and some gaming. This is how the magic happens. You just, yeah. Yeah. There he is. And we are live. Ooh, I got notifications. What do we got here? Yep. More of the usual. Cool. Alrighty. So, we've got about an hour's worth of videos. Again, I don't know why this is on here twice. Yeah, we got about an hour's worth of videos before my kids wake up and I gotta get back to doing dad stuff. Oh, it's been a hell of a year for the last 2 weeks. Thank you for joining me on this journey to the downfall of democracy. I will be re-uploading this to YouTube. I know I have no viewers yet, no subscribers, none of those things. That's how content works. You just pump it out when you can. When you get big enough, you get a regular schedule, and then you got a niche, you got a gimmick, you're adhering to all that stuff. I'm just getting started, and I'm doing what I want to do, which is just making videos that make me happy and unwinding after a long day of work and bullshit. And I get to share my jaded, scorned, very raw opinions. And you guys get to share them with me for an hour. So let's begin with the Ethan Hasan drama by Hasanabi. Oh, I'm not subscribed? I'll fucking subscribe, yeah. For those who don't know, Hasan Piker is such a big Twitch streamer. He has the Hasanabi industrial complex, which my understanding is several minor YouTube channels that make revenue off of just reposting Hasan's content. Here's the real talk. This is pretty much the only way I get my Hasan content. I'm sorry, I don't have time to watch the Twitch streams. I know he does like 8 hours a day. God bless him for that. The brief little bit that I do, like, I'm starting to understand, like, it is taxing. Like, don't get me wrong, you're sitting, you're relaxing, but, like, you have to adhere to the content. You need to address the audience. You need to engage with them. And he does the whole shebang. Like, he earns it. So, again, if you stick around and care to watch, you'll see I'm a big Hasan Piker fan. So, let's begin.
Like, I don't think Black Lives Matter is anti-white racism. I'm an advocate for black people. I don't want black people to be disproportionately harmed by the police, okay? Ironically enough, this is an argument that I presented to Ethan initially as well. And then everyone was like, nah, dog, you don't understand. This is actually, you're promoting anti-white racism. You want a million different clips out of context where you've talked about things where it makes me feel like you're on board with the Black Panther Party, which is a cell, you know? The American government had to prosecute and assassinate their leadership and then spent their entire time constantly repeating that over and over and over again, and then simultaneously aligning themselves with the likes of Keemstar, Tim Pool, and numerous other right-wing
Oh yeah, Tim Pool is a bloodthirsty monster.
There's currently a civil
He was
war
broadcasting how we should just invade and just conquer Canada. Totally normal things.
Yeah, of course they did. What do you mean? That's not... How is that a speculation? Ethan is literally also trying to do a mass email campaign to try to get Twitch or try to get me off Twitch directly.
Ethan Klein is in like a downward spiral. Like, he's in a
So now he wants to like do a direct email campaign. He has become everything that he used to despise about content creators.
Yeah.
He used multiple posts from their sub. I think it is pretty wild that you can just, I don't know, you can just be like, hey man, this is a bad person. Here is a 2-hour clip compilation of everything that I believe leads me into thinking that he's a bad person. He's a bad person, I promise you. And then people will just be like, yeah, that's right. I guess that's the case. Ironic that he make fun of people like this directly to your face in your podcast episodes. I know. like Ethan's behavior over the past year is something that we used to make fun of together on the Leftovers podcast. Like we'd be literally making fun of like Tim Pool or Dave Rubin or Steven Crowder or any number of different people that behave like this. And now he has become that person, and he's and the people that we used to make fun of, like Keemstar, are on board with his actions. Like he's got Tim Pool and Keemstar rooting for him, all these like drama slop tubers rooting for him, and no one in his community goes, wait a minute, are we aligning with some weird people here? Is the community dynamic changing a little bit? Are we
You see a lot of that in the Joe
progressive
Rogan
community?
subreddit with how like
It
they
sure
constantly
seems
hate
like
on
we're
Joe now
losing
because
our,
he's a
uh,
class traitor
you
piece
know,
of
we're
shit.
losing our grip on being a progressive community, slowly but surely.
Oh, I didn't say it
Is this your
earlier.
biggest
All
TikTok
things that
account?
I'm watching, I will put the links of in the YouTube video uploads.
I'm not
So
watching AI slop
yeah.
like this. I think he's mad that no other big YouTuber is talking about it or cares about it. I just don't.
Yeah, because
I don't know.
it's
where
like,
this
Ethan, you're
comes
going
from.
after the one
I don't
progressive,
know.
like,
I think it's
fighting
unfair
the
that
Trump
HBK
administration on the
calls less
YouTube
progressive
side,
because they're attacking
on the
you.
Twitch side.
You think it's
Like,
unfair
what's your
to the
fucking
HBK
problem?
community to
Like,
call
there are
them less
Nazis in the White
progressive
House and you're
because
wasting our time with
they're
this?
spending most
Are you
of their
fucking kidding us?
political
Jesus
activism
Christ.
attacking a progressive content creator, probably the largest progressive content creator in
He
North
is.
America, over a disagreement on
The top 10
an
Twitch
apartheid
streamers
state
on
committing a
election
genocide.
night,
I feel like
Hasan
at
was the
what
only
point-
leftist, and he
okay,
was number
let's-
3.
Let's swap the dynamic.
Yeah.
Let's not actually talk about Israel. If the same exact thing was occurring over, I don't know, BLM, I think most people would understand, oh, maybe we're not that progressive. You know what I mean? Imagine I'm like, no, I'm pro Black Lives Matter, and I don't care. Like, I don't think Black Lives Matter is anti-white racism. I'm an advocate for black people. I don't want black people to be disproportionately harmed by the police. Okay. Ironically enough, this is an argument that I presented to Ethan initially as well. And then everyone was like, nah, dog, you don't understand. This is actually, you're promoting anti-white racism. You want a million different clips out of context where you've talked about things where it makes me feel like you're on board with the Black Panther Party, which is a cell. You know, the American government had to prosecute and assassinate their leadership, and then spent their entire time constantly repeating that over and over and over again, and then simultaneously aligning themselves with the likes of Keemstar, Tim Pool, and numerous other right-wing content creators. At a certain point, you would have to realize, like, maybe you're either A, being duped, or B, no longer as progressive as you are, or as you thought you are. Especially considering that, you know, a lot of this conversation revolves around calling me un-American and pro.
I don't think Ethan was ever that
I don't
progressive.
agree with them.
Like,
I think they can still be progressive in other aspects.
he likes
issues.
progressive aesthetics, but he's
Yeah,
not
I'm
like,
just saying, I
he's
think
not a
you're,
progressive.
Wait, why are you? Yeah, okay. Strasserites are also pro social safety nets. You know what I mean? Nazballs. I guess they're woke now. You know what I mean? Yes, there's a concept in progressive circles and in socialist circles called progressive except Palestine. This has existed for a very long time. The only reason why it's become a major contradiction now
So fucking aggravating.
is because a lot more people are aware of the actual dynamic that has been taking place in Israel. And that is...
Yeah, they really outed
people.
themselves.
Anyway, we're moving on.
I remember even like
I heard something about
2,
Dave Rubin
3
being
years
progressive
ago,
except Palestine. Eventually did a
like
whole
the
pivot.
coverage
Yeah,
of
that's
like,
how
oh,
Dave
the
Rubin
Israelis are
started
hiding
as
in
well.
their
That's
massive
literally
bomb
how Dave
shelters,
Rubin became more right wing. Unironically,
while
he was a progressive
the
except
Palestinians were
Palestine
bombing
guy.
them. And then, like,
It's kinda
October
crazy
7th
to
happens,
think
and it's
about
like,
'cause
what
it
they
was so
did
many
was
years
terrible,
ago.
yeah.
Back in the day,
But then
Dave
Israel,
Rubin
like,
was at the Young
destroys
Turks. He was a fairly
Palestine.
progressive person.
And, like, they're blaming,
Except
we're the
for
victims,
the
we're the
issue of
victims.
Israel.
And it's like, you guys are,
And
like,
it broke his
all but
fucking
nuking
brain.
them.
now
And they
he's
have
just, like,
no
completely
Iron
right
Dome or
wing,
defense
obviously,
system. They're just
and it took
dying.
many
Like,
you know, it's just
like, what do you expect us to
It would
believe?
be easier to move on if you didn't talk about it, but reacted the whole video, bro. This drama just needs to be put to bed already. If you think, first of all, me not reacting to the video really pisses them off, and I already
God,
stated
it's
that
so
I would
good.
be down to
Like,
debate.
because the video is
The video is
terrible.
about me.
I've
I
seen,
already know what's in it.
like,
I've already
I think
addressed it
5-minute
before the
clips
video
max of
even
it.
came out.
It's dog
precisely
water.
the
It's
reason
so
why
fucking bad. Ethan, you
this is
made
what I said.
trash.
I'm down to
You
debate
wasted all this time
if
making.
wants to.
Why not do a Doctor Disrespect nuke or something? You
Okay.
fucking idiot.
Secondly, if you think that actually watching the
Dumbass.
video is
God.
going to do anything but supercharge the drama, you're being delusional. All right, this shit is so insane. It's the BLM Pepsi commercial again. Oh yeah, I saw the anti-Semitism. There's a new ad, I think.
I hate you because we from different neighborhoods.
I hate you because you look different.
I hate you because I don't understand you.
I hate you because people I know hate you.
You can't. What is? Oh my god. I'm not saying anything.
I hate you because I think you hate me.
Because I need someone to blame.
Because you talk different.
It's super weird. We're watching this commercial with two Trump supporters yelling at each other.
Man, I hate that things are so bad that we have to do a commercial about it.
You didn't have to. Nobody asked you to.
Okay, I didn't even blast off yet, man. What is happening? I forgot. All right. Let's do this damn thing. Okay. What, bro? What is happening, dude? Bro, Snoop Dogg never doesn't follow the bag. Yeah. Did you guys see the Snoop Dogg video from like 2016 when he's like calling?
You can't support
people
Trump,
who
and it's
performed
like,
for
I'm gonna
Donald
support
at
Trump.
the inauguration,
Ugh.
the C word, and I don't mean cracker. And then he performed at the Trump inauguration this time. Yeah, he is chasing the bag for sure. It's a Robert Kraft organization. Yeah. Isn't this the org that did the Hezbollah, like the timeout? Like they come in vertical, they leave horizontal meme
Jesus.
where they were like, hey, timeout. And it was at the time when Israel was invading Lebanon. Speak up, Hasan. It's not right that I hate someone because they kiss their son differently than you.
Google Tom Brady kissing his son. It's really,
Gary V. No,
really weird.
What are you talking about? That's Tom Brady. He's a son kisser. You don't remember that? Tom Brady kissing his son.
Meat Canyon did a whole video about it.
Demanding more.
And he barely
demanding
embellished.
you see your peck after his son is like very clearly trying to move away, and he's like, "Nah, get back here."
And Tom's dad allegedly in old videos kissed him like
If I
that.
had a dad
Really
like
weird.
that, I'd be kissing it too. What?
Oh
I'm
my
not gonna
God.
play it right now. That's how champs are made. Okay.
Toes into the political stuff. Now let's do some gaming. I want to see what Watch Mojo thinks of the 10 best video
Now, with
games
the
of the
first half
decade.
of the decade drawing to an end,
So
now
far.
is the time to reflect on the best games over the last 5 years. Now, during that period, the gaming industry has provided hundreds of magnificent titles, and as a result, it was pretty challenging to decide which are the absolute top tier. But don't worry, because we're here to solve that, because we've clearly picked the best 10 with no arguments whatsoever. Oh, was that? You want to leave your own top 10 down in the comment? Yeah, I guess we can do that too. But for now, let's focus
By
on
all
what
accounts,
Culture's
Jules is a
picked.
good guy. I don't have
Jules,
anything.
This is
Yeah.
culture.com, and these are the 10 best
Decent
video games of the
disposition,
decade
self-deprecating,
so
fun
far.
guy.
Number 10, Hades. In Supergiant Games' dungeon crawler, Prince of the Underworld Big Zag over here has vowed to escape his home and reunite with
There's
his
a
mother.
lot
Now, Z
of-
is sure to die many, many times on his travels, since he has to go through literal hell to find his
There's a lot of
mommy.
roguelikes out
Though this
there.
sort of gameplay
Hades is
should be
amazing.
repetitive, it is quite
I don't know if
opposite.
it's
The combat is
one of
fierce,
the top
creative,
ones
and
that
adaptable,
last-
so
well-
players won't mind battling hydras, demons, furies, and evil pots umpteen times.
Yeah.
Each playthrough offers
Yeah, I can't
randomized
really argue
upgrades
that.
allow you to vary Zag's combat style and abilities significantly, so it rarely feels tedious. Also, having our hero die over and over isn't actually annoying. In fact, it's arguably the best part of Hades. Dialogue from the underworld's denizens is unlocked.
It kind of
every
is,
time
because like
the
you get
defiant
shit into a
prince
run,
perishes,
like you're
which
fucking up, and you're
expands
just like, I
the
just want this to be
and
done. I'll
develops
take my
relationship
death.
with
You
every
get back,
character.
respec,
Since
you're
Zag's
back out
deaths
there.
can open up new weapons, areas, purchasable items,
Yeah.
and upgrades,
And
players make
the
deliberate
interactions you get with the
designs so they
side
get their
cast, they're really
hands
great.
on more goodies. Hades may boast magnificent gameplay.
I've not
beautiful
been able to
music, and
game
top-of-the-line
this
voice
year.
acting, but watching your bond
The
grow
last
with the
365
ensemble
days have been
leaves the
ass.
largest impression. Number 9, Alan Wake 2. Even the biggest Alan Wake fans were pretty dubious about a
No,
remake
I don't think that
sequel
belongs
seeing
on the
light
list.
of
I'm
day.
sorry.
When it was finally greenlit, there was still
It's not a bad
criticism
game.
about whether it could
I
measure up
appreciate,
to the first one. But luckily,
Sam
naysayers
Lake's,
were wrong on both accounts. Remedy's Alan Wake
dedication
had an
to his,
amazing ability
like,
to
character
weave a
insert.
Lovecraftian saga with metaphysical
But I'm sorry.
elements while
Yeah,
still
no, I'm
feeling
sorry.
relatable.
Control
Alan
is
Wake 2
better,
achieves this
personally.
feat with more finesse, having the gameplay split in two, with one half following an FBI agent
I'm
in
much
our
more
reality,
looking forward to
other
the
half
Control
centering
sequel.
around Wake trapped inside an eldritch dimension. Dividing the game in two parts creates a fascinating tonal shift, since it feels like you're involved in a gritty detective drama in one chapter before being abruptly dumped inside an otherworldly reality populated by indescribable horrors. Although this juxtaposition could be jarring, the two halves complement each other, especially since the player chooses when to swap from one to another in between each chapter. Even though the mind-bending puzzles are wonderfully imaginative in their own right, each of them
I'll say this, it's
constantly
worth buying to support
tied into
the studio.
narrative. Completing each section is
And it's not a bad
enjoyable
game,
since
it's just-
it gives you a greater understanding of
there's
Wake's
other stuff going
predicament
on.
and his reality-altering powers. Alan Wake 2 exceeds all expectations, which makes it all the more crushing to learn that it actually underperformed in the sales department. Boo. Number 8, Final Fantasy VII Remake. Final Fantasy VII has been touted as the series' crown jewel since its release. For this reason, it was no surprise to see Square spare no expense with Final Fantasy VII's remake, which is now the first installment of its own trilogy. Graphics have never been better, which is a huge achievement considering the franchise's reputation, and combat utilizes more action-oriented mechanics mixed in with the materia system and the turn-based ethos of the original, which pleases old fans and new alike. Granted, the reboot only follows the first act of the 1997 version, but nobody would accuse Final Fantasy VII's remake of lacking in content. Everything from
Yeah,
Final Fantasy
FF7
VII has
remake
been fleshed out,
is
and beyond
amazing.
every character,
Like,
environment, interaction, boss battle, conflict, and
9 out of 10.
Also, the decision to keep the plot entirely in Midgar boasts a tighter
What
and
keeps
more
from being a
personal
10 out of
story
10 is, like,
overall.
some of the side
However,
quests
there's
are just
one
like, what are we,
aspect that
why
stood
are
out
we
about
doing
this
here?
reimagining. Rather
They're
than
just really
mimicking the
tedious in
previous
some of
game's
them,
story
and
beats,
yeah,
the
it's
remake
not
offers a new
the
perspective
whole
while still
game.
maintaining the soul of the original old school version. This decision has proved definitely divisive, but
That
it
being
is
said,
an
where
ingenious
like
way to make
remake is like a
everything about
9
Final
out of
Fantasy
10,
VII
Rebirth
feel
is like a
fresh
7
and
or
new,
an 8 out of
especially as
10.
the trilogy plays
Like,
out.
there's a lot of
Black
great
Myth
shit in
Wukong.
there.
For 400 years,
Great
Journey to the
gameplay
West has
improvements and
remained
everything
the
too,
most
but
celebrated
they-
story in China and among the most
They make some
cultural
mistakes with the
tales,
story.
and say it with me, kids, of all time. Though the classic novel has been adapted into many mediums,
I haven't
they
played
have nailed it better
Black
than
Myth
Black
Wukong
Myth
yet. I
Wukong.
mean, if our
Despite only
country
working
doesn't
with
go
mobile
under in the
titles
next
up
year or
until this
two, I'll
point,
pick it up.
Game Science delivered a title that is one for
it
the
looks
ages.
beautiful.
Now there are a
It looks
few
great.
minor quibbles, but the gorgeous artwork, brimming content, lively gameplay, awe-inspiring score, unique boss designs, and tremendous combat system more than makes up for it. Even though the Asian folklore is dense and fantastical, it resonated with Western audiences due to the beautifully written story and grounded characters. Despite the high praise, Black Myth wasn't a guaranteed smash hit, since the source material and developers aren't globally recognized. That's why it was pretty inspiring to see the first Chinese AAA title to reach 2 million concurrent players on Steam and sell 80 million units in just 2 weeks, making it one of the fastest selling games ever.
And that's the big thing that
6,
game did. It
Spider-Man
proved that
2.
the Chinese
Spider-Man
market
2 picks up
is
where the
capable
last
of
entries
producing.
left off, with the dual
Another
war
thing that
trawlers
we're
teaming
losing
up
out
to
to
bring peace
because
New York
we're not
City.
taking
However,
care of our
Peter
creators.
Parker's life spirals out of control when an alien symbiote corrupts his mind. When he discards the
I
alien
have
terrestrial,
too, I
it
just haven't had a
infects
chance to
Peter's
play
oldest
it.
friend Harry Osborn, transforming him into the monstrous Venom. Anyone familiar with the comics knows that Venom's primary host is Eddie Brock, not Harry. However, this switcheroo demonstrates what the developers were trying to achieve. Though Spider-Man 2 is crammed with marvelous supervillain fights, web-slinging action, and a vast open world to explore, the most important aspect is Peter's inner turmoil and his doomed relationship with Harry. As riveting as it is to watch the symbiote almost destroy Spidey's life, it's far more heartbreaking to see his childhood friend become his greatest enemy. Fighting the Lizard and Kraven the Hunter is awesome.
Like, Spider-Man
but it
2 has a lot of
doesn't
great
hold a
stuff in
candle to
it,
watching this
but,
destructive
like, I'm
and
sorry, the
self-destructive
2018
conflict
version,
play out.
on top of
Also,
the face
playing as
swap,
both
the face swap
Spider-Men
was
an
terrible. They
effective
never
way to
should have done that.
diversify the combat. Peter
And they're
Miles
like,
swap
it
in
matches
battle
up with the
in a way
voice
that
actor better.
feels
I'm like,
gimmicky, nor does it
none of them looked like Yuri
battle.
Lowenthal.
Spider-Man 2 also deserves praise.
But I'm sorry, I related to the first Peter Parker they had way
Namely
better.
that Mary Jane is fun to play as this time around. The original turned out so
Yeah,
well.
they
the
gave her a
developers
gun,
definitely
and not even
had
a
their
good
work
gun.
cut out for them with
Big
this installment.
fucking whoop.
But immediately after completing the faultless prologue with Sandman, it's apparent Spider-Man 2 is the superior of the pair. Number 5, Ghost
I see what
of
you fucking did
Tsushima.
there.
In Sucker Punch's Samurai Sandbox, players take control of a Japanese warrior called Jin Sakai, who must defend his nation during a Mongol invasion. The art direction and presentation
Goddamn
is
Mongolian,
second to
stop
none, to
breaking
the
my
point where it
shitty
feels like
wall.
you're watching one of Akira Kurosawa's finest
It's not
works.
racism,
Ghost
because
of
you find
Tsushima
out that
luckily avoids
character
the
is a
pitfall
white
of
man.
open-world genres such as grinding and repetitive combat. Thanks to
shouldn't have done
consultations
that.
from film expert David Ishimura, every strike, dodge, and parry has a sublime layer of authenticity. The characterization, the dialogue, and performances are so astounding that players will be incentivized to complete all the side quests, not just for the extra goodies, but to understand Jin's conflicts, his motivations, and his relationships. Another aspect worth praising is the subtle progress indicators. Rather than relying on glaring arrows or cramming the map with flashing icons, songbirds and the wind itself directs Jin to his next destination. Not only is this a clever technique to stop Jin from straying off course, it also allows players to remain immersed in the gameplay. Now, there wasn't much hype surrounding Ghost of Tsushima prior to its release, but that didn't stop it from blowing the competition completely out of the water. Number 4, The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. After Breath of the Wild's unprecedented success, Nintendo got to work on DLC, but after the developers realized that they had enough ideas for a whole new game, they decided to make it a direct sequel.
I love how
Due
they
to
did Tears of the
insurmountable
Kingdom,
hype,
but they
it didn't
didn't
seem
do,
likely
like,
next entry to invoke
the
this
tiny
war
village
as
that
its
they
predecessor.
did, like,
And yet, Tears of the Kingdom surpassed the previous
that
Legend of Zelda
they
in
wanted
many
to do,
ways.
like, Link
Now,
would stumble on a
Link
village of, like,
takes
tiny
side
people
venture
just,
into
like, tucked away
subterranean
somewhere.
layers, the
I'm like,
scale
that would have been
reached
amazing. That
twice
would have been
that of
great.
Breath of the Wild. Although the previous game was extremely open,
Plus, Tears of the Kingdom makes a lot of mistakes.
The new abilities allowed our
Like, there's a lot of
hero
great
lots
stuff
ways
there,
to
but it
complete
makes a
shrines,
lot
solve
of
puzzles, and
mistakes.
defeat enemies. These
Breath of the
paths
Wild
made
is a
Link
better
feel like
game
god, since he could
overall
use them to control
compared
time,
to Tears of the
teleport
Kingdom.
upward in seconds, or create complex contraptions in an instant. Ultra Hand is probably the most entertaining mechanic since it allows Link to forge almost anything, including bridges, ladders, laser shooting robots, and colossal death traps. With a greater range of side quests, more balanced shrines, sensational bosses, a bigger challenge, and more to do overall, there's no question that Tears of the Kingdom knocked it out of the park. Number 3, Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh, yeah.
Games like Skull and
Yeah.
Bones and Concord spent
Hands down.
eternity in development, with the end result having little to show for it. However, Baldur's Gate 3 went in the opposite direction. Despite having a 6-year development cycle, it feels like Larian Interactive were working on the long-awaited follow-up for twice that length, since it is just overflowing with content. The breathtaking threequel reinvents the classic mechanics while still feeling ingrained in what made the previous installments figuratively and literally magic. Despite the game's complexities and the implementation of the elaborate Dungeons & Dragons rule set, BG3 is accessible to people unfamiliar with the tabletop IP. You have a great understanding of each main character thanks to the flawless facial animations, voice acting, and script, making it easy to get invested in their stories individually and collectively. The vast array of side quests never feels excessive since each were designed with meticulous care.
This is a
Many of
game
these
that you can
subplots actually
cheese,
turn out to be directly relevant
but you
to
can
the
only
overarching
cheese,
story,
like,
compelling players to explore and
if
take
you
part in
game
as
it,
many
if that
side
makes
quests as possible,
sense.
not just for every
There are some good
equipment or
TikToks
XP
out there
bonus,
that'll show you
but
how to, like,
appreciate the subtle
break
aspects
Baldur's
of
Gate
epic
3
narrative. Though the promos
with
for Baldur's
minimal
Gate 3 looked
sacrifices.
impressive, nobody was truly ready for this game. Larian Interactive's magnum opus isn't just the new benchmark for the series, but for RPGs, D&D titles, and pretty much gaming as a whole. Number 2, God of War Ragnarok. 2018's God of War took a heavy departure from the ancient Greek hack-and-slash formula, focusing instead on the Nordic pantheon of
But
gods.
I wouldn't put it above
also
Baldur's Gate
humanized
3.
Kratos, making his relationship with his son integral to the gameplay as well as the plot. And to be fair, it was a bold move, but it worked out since the God of War reboot received near universal acclaim. And then God of War Ragnarok did it all over again, but to arguably an even higher degree. Combat was more well-rounded, incorporating elements from the last installment of the classic games. The use of the shield and parrying mechanics required more precision in battle, letting you savor every victory. Despite all the deities' unfathomable power, they're remarkably relatable, thanks to the poignant performances and phenomenal writing. There are many returning locations, but it doesn't
Freya
feel
was
like
great
an asset flip.
in
since
God
players
of
can
War
see how
Ragnarok.
these locations have been infected by the actions from the last game's climax. This alteration also changes how Kratos travels, since the Lake of Nine
There's a
has been left
discovery of,
frozen,
like,
forcing the bearded demigod
acknowledging
to
you're a
navigate across the
victim
realms
of circumstances
via
in the
sleigh
world
rather than
around you
boat.
that
Little
Kratos goes
touches
through
like
in that
this
game.
are appreciated,
Well, that all
as
of
it
the
stops
characters go
Ragnarok
through, and
feeling
it's
like a
like,
copy of the last
as
game.
powerful as you
Although
can be,
2018's
sometimes
God of
you
War plot
are
was
just kind of a victim
incredible.
of
Much of the
things.
time was spent on the setup due to
And
the new setting. Fortunately,
accepting
Ragnarok
that
wastes no time narratively, since it
changes
builds
the
upon
way
those
you approach the
foundations.
world
It
around
also
you.
expands the world building,
You're more measured
devises
because
more
of
through
it.
conflicts, especially with Thor,
Which is something,
and
of
ties
course,
up many
old
loose ends,
Kratos
creating
never
an
did,
overall more
as he was
natural
ripping
story.
Helios's
Another
fucking
word
head
on
off.
Elden Ring. Even though each Soulsborne seems to improve upon the last, From Software may have peaked with Elden Ring. Simply put, this sprawling fantasy title perfects nearly every element from its predecessors. Although previous titles had well-structured open worlds, the land between worlds is in its own league, especially when players bear witness to the luscious lands of Limgrave in the opening. More detail, history, and thought was put into each side quest than the average developer puts into an entire game, and you're given free reign, allowing you to explore in any way you see fit from the get-go. Getting lost is definitely guaranteed, but it rarely feels inconvenient, as you regularly stumble upon fascinating characters, compelling lore, riveting enemies, and useful equipment. Of all the Souls games, Elden Ring provides the greatest challenge. Ironically, it happens to be the most accessible as well, since its non-linear gameplay allows you to face the toughest regions in your own time and when you've attained enough experience. And with over 100 bosses to fight in countless areas to explore, you're not going to run out of things to do for a long, long time. Though it initially looked like Elden Ring had no room for improvement, the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC proved From Software's well of innovation was far from empty. Despite the fact that many hype titles are on the way, including GTA 6, Ghost of Yotei, and Metroid Prime Beyond, Elden Ring could very well maintain its reputation as being the best game of the decade. And there we go, my friends. Those were the 10 best video games of the decade so far. Let me know what you thought about it, and also put your favourite games
Metroid
of the
Prime
decade
4
so
should have
far
came after
down in the
Metroid
comment
Dread.
section below, because I want to see them
And I
all.
say
wanna
that
see,
because of the
have we
ending of
gone wrong?
Metroid
Have
Dread.
we picked the true gems, or is there actually ones that have been underappreciated?
See what's
that you
next on the
feel
list.
Need more light. Let us know.
Elon
down in the comment section
spiraling.
below. As always, I've been Jules. You have been awesome.
Ethan's
Never
mass
forget
mail
that. I'll speak to
campaign.
you soon. Bye.
Let's do Elon Spiral. Let's
All
get
right,
back into the
check this
politics.
out. Elon Musk
Adam
and
Mockler,
Doge just got
the man.
smacked in the face with a reality check and took their first massive L. Or is the L this way on camera?
Oh, there we go.
Either way, Elon Musk just took a massive L, and we have to
How old
break
is
it
this
down
video?
because I know things have seemed quite bleak lately, with Musk and his
Oh, it's not
billionaire
that old.
buddies doing a hostile takeover of our most important institutions, and we've been covering that relentlessly. But I also want to cover some roadblocks that
Elon
he's
Musk
been hitting,
would,
because
should
he
be
has
in,
sky-high
he should be in jail right
ambitions,
now.
and they did run into the
He should just be
inertia of
arrested.
Washington, D.C.
The Capitol
And I've said
Police
this time
should
and time
take him into
again, but
custody
when our institutions begin
and
to
remand
fail,
him to the court.
We have individuals left, people at an individual level holding the line, and I think we should highlight some of those people today because
Yeah,
federal
this story
workers
was
have come together
like,
to
it's
revolt
true.
against Musk,
It's also
against
ass.
Trump,
99%
against the
of federal
billionaires
employees are
surrounding them,
staying.
and we totally should break it
1%
down. So
are taking
drop
the
a like,
buyout.
Make sure you subscribe to the
And
MAGA
they're
channel.
likely not
Almost
gonna see that
70%
money.
of people who watch these videos
Like-
aren't subscribed, so go ahead and do it. It's free. And let's just start here. 20,000 federal workers have taken the buyout offer so far, official says. And while that seems like a lot, it is well below what Elon Musk was aiming for, and even people on the federal worker subreddit, the Fed News subreddit that I've covered a few times, where thousands, hundreds of thousands of federal workers come together to talk about their experience, they've been saying that they've been receiving increasingly desperate emails from Elon Musk and from the people trying to get them to take these buyout offers. So this all starts with this post right here. Reporting shows that after all of the fanfare, Elon Musk's Doge team has only been able to secure roughly 20,000 volunteers for its Deferred Resignation Package, or DERP campaign, seeing as how any given year, 5 to 7% of the 2.3 million strong workforce, or approximately 138,000 workers, separate from the service. This is utterly unimpressive. Again, they hit 20,000 volunteers to resign when usually, even without that offer, you see 138,000 workers turn over. So again, utterly unimpressive. Elon has come into this admin promising to cut up to 70% of the workforce in some areas. So the fact that he is unable
If Elon
to
does to the
secure
federal
even a
government what he
1%
did to
staff
Twitter, our
reduction
government will
shows
be
us
worse than
that we have
Russia's.
our first Doge failure.
Like, it just will be. It
Civil
will be
servers
demonstrably
over at
worse.
Fed News, the subreddit that we're about to cover, and corroborated by me, have spoken out about how they are receiving increasingly desperate emails from the Doge-ran OPM HR email address, begging people to take the fork in the road offer, begging them. Some have likened the communications to an obsessive ex that you won't answer back. And before we break down some of these emails that Elon Musk has been sending, Senator Alyssa Slotkin sent out a great Twitter thread about how Elon Musk is terrorizing the federal workforce. So read this. Quote, I served for over 15 years in the federal government working to protect the country from terrorist threats. A short thread on Elon Musk. 1. The targeting across our federal government of law enforcement to flight safety inspectors, to weather forecasters, or those who test our drinking water, to doctors conducting clinical trials for children with cancer is not just wrong, it will result in Americans being less safe. And I want to pose the question to you guys watching. Let me know in the comments. Do you feel safe in Trump's America? Do you feel safe flying? Do you feel secure in your job? Are egg prices down yet? Do you feel safe overall? Alyssa Slotkin then says, 2, I have no problems cutting fat from the system. No one has any problems making the government more efficient, but this approach is way too broad and risks throwing the baby out with the bathwater when it comes to professions that Americans rely on, whether they know it or not.
Oh, you like cancer research?
Elon Musk, an unelected billionaire, now has access to Americans' private and personal information, including sensitive tax documents and more. This raises all kinds of questions about the use and abuse of that information.
There
for
should be a
targeting of citizens,
class action
to use for
lawsuit
legal
filed
or
against
financial gain.
Elon
And
Musk,
finally,
Doge,
Musk's personal
every
interests
member
from his
accessing that
vast
information
investments in
without
communist China
federal
to his
permission.
opposition to the
There should
Big
just be
Three simply don't
like, I know there
align
is a
with the
class action
interests of the
injunction, like
average
stopping it.
Michigander.
I mean a
And
civil lawsuit
someone else
filed
replied,
on behalf of
someone who's not
all
the senator
330 million
replied a picture
Americans
of Elon Musk
against
in
Elon.
SS uniform.
And even if you can get
But
$100 for
aside,
each,
let's go over
he'll
to
feel
the Fed
that.
News subreddit
Like,
and see
fuck.
what federal workers are saying. Somebody posted a funny thread saying less than 0.7 take the fork offer. Lol. According to Axios, less than 0.7 and almost entirely people who had planned to retire in the first few months of this year decided to roll the die and maybe get a free 8 months of pay by taking it. On average, 10,000 employees retire each year. Anyway, Elon and his merry band of Nepo babies wasting resources and increasing the federal deficit by incompetently targeting a federal workforce that only accounts for 4% of the federal budget. People have said this a lot, but if you actually want to reduce waste and reduce our spending, go to our military budget. I don't think we should reduce the budget overall.
Do you know how much
but
fucking
there are
money's in the
certain
goddamn
key sectors
Pentagon
you
that
can
just goes
target
into the
where
fucking
they are
oblivion?
absolutely price gouging.
Trillions!
Contractors who are
God.
price gouging the government.
And we're cutting cancer
Elon
research
Musk benefits from that
and
being
air
the
traffic
case.
controllers. What the
Somebody in
fuck?
reply said, I have a coworker who'd
I
actually
want to
like
tackle
take the
waste.
offer,
Like,
but it's
bitch,
too,
you came
quote,
in
sketchy for them
and
to send
unlocked
a
all the
resigned
emails with
reply by
your
email.
third-party server
Kind of
crap.
crazy how
They were
they
getting
went about
emails
this. By
like,
someone says,
Trump
this
has a
federal
big
employee
cock
says,
and I had to
"I'm
taste
close
it
to
and it was
retirement,
great.
so
Like,
when I first heard of this
they were
offer, I
in
was
federal
intrigued
employees'
and slightly
emails. Like, what the
tempted.
fuck
Then
are
I
you
read the
doing?
actual offer.
Dumbass.
No way. He
Fuck.
says, no way. But here's another thread. Yet another fork in the road email, this person says. Quote, they just sent out a second email encouraging us to take the scam offer, this time trying to sweeten the pot by offering to allow us to do outside work while on government time. For anyone who somehow doesn't already know this, that would be illegal. Then they go on to accuse government workers of being lazy, contrasted with the hyper-productive workers in private industry, which is hilarious coming from a rich boy who's never done a day's hard work in his life, obviously referring to Elon Musk. This says, the laziest people I've ever worked
Elon's
with were in the
hands are
private
Diddy
sector.
baby
Stay
oil
strong
soft.
and recognize these emails for what they are. Desperate emails coming from Elon Musk because Doge is failing to cut 70% of the federal workforce. I mean, the last time Elon Musk cut 70% of something, it was X. He cut the Twitter workforce by 70% and then rebranded it to X, and that turned X into a poorly moderated Nazi cesspool. So if their goal is to turn the government into a
Nazi
cesspool,
porn bot
then I
crypto
guess Elon
cesspool.
Musk is on the right track, especially with his
Coming to an America near you.
right? So then they show
Fuck.
this email that says, am I expected to work at the government during the deferred resignation period? No. And they even say, Americans should move from lower productivity jobs in the public sector to higher productivity jobs in the private sector, essentially implying that people are
You can make such a difference in the federal
Someone
government,
said,
even in a low
also wasn't
position,
aware we accrued personal
and make a
leave
living
days
wage.
and vacation days.
And there's
These bozos haven't the slightest
I
clue.
personally
I'd be
guarantee
embarrassed
any
if I were
comparable
them.
entry-level
Let's go over
job
this Axios
in the
article
federal
about how
government
much
versus to
Elon
what
Musk
it
has
all is
failed.
offered in the private
About
sector
20,000 federal
is
workers have accepted the buyout,
half,
which sounds like a high amount.
like what
but
it's
have
what
to
you would get
remember,
in the federal
it's
sector,
only about
in the
1%,
public federal sector.
less than 1% of the federal workforce, substantially less than the White House's target of 5 to 10%, and substantially less.
When
than
Adam is
Elon
done,
Musk's
I'm going to
goal
watch
of
this video and
70%
then this
of the
video,
federal
and then I'm probably going to
workforce.
call it for
The
tonight.
offer
I
is
don't have
open
as much
through Thursday,
time
meaning
as
the
I
total
thought I
could
would.
rise
Well,
despite heavy opposition from unions and others. What they're saying,
25
quote,
minutes.
we expect more to come. If you see what's happening at U.S. aid, it's just one piece of the puzzle. What they mean is they expected
I'll
more
st-
to come.
I'll
They expected
do
more
three
people to come, and now they're wondering where they went wrong. And I will urge you guys, if any federal workers are watching this video, hold the line. You
Yeah,
can go
don't
to the
quit.
Fed News
Like,
subreddit and talk to like-minded people.
I want you to
but
know
hold
far
the
more
line,
Americans
because the
support you
parallels
than
between
don't.
Musk's Doge and the failures
And
there,
like,
and
people
the
are
Trump
actively
admin's
wishing
recent
for the
failures
worst for
are
Elon.
clear. And
Like,
it's that
school shooters, do you want to be a
top-down
hero?
attempts to
Do you want to be a
manipulate
hero
and
instead of a
control
bastard?
people, top-down attempts to
Like,
manipulate and control the truth.
you want to
are
be
often
remembered,
met with
like, there's a way to
steadfast
do it.
resistance from the ground up. A top-down movement led by Elon Musk and Trump, again, will be met
I
with
wanna watch
a
this one.
bottom-up resistance, and that is us.
So you know
we
what?
are
We'll
the
watch-
resistance, so I'll leave it at that. Make sure you
Okay,
drop a
I'm gonna
like,
pull that
subscribe.
one up
Have a great
there.
rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.
Because we haven't watched that one yet. No, wait, hold on. We're going to watch... Sorry,
All
it's
right,
too
y'all.
long.
So we talked a little bit
Let's get a
about
little
this
bit of
the other
Kyle
day, but I wanted
Kulinski.
to dive in it more with you. So this is in the Daily Mail. Hedge funds' massive bet on stock market crash raises alarm for 401ks and risks ire of Trump. Okay. So basically the idea here is all the hedge funders, all the venture capitalists, all the MAGA robber barons, the multimillionaires and the billionaires, they looked at Trump's tariff threats and they went, oh shit, short the market. Bet on there being a market crash in the U.S. That's what they did, right? So here, let me walk you through this. Hedge funds are making multi-billion-dollar gamble against the U.S. economy, betting Donald Trump's presidency
gotta
will
love it.
result in a massive market crash that could devastate 401ks.
We've built an
pensions, and
economy
household savings across America.
that focuses
Data from
on
Goldman
money
Sachs has sent
above
shockwaves
prosperity. And
through
it's,
financial circles, revealing a dramatic surge in short
that
positions
can't
against U.S.
last.
stocks.
It's a snake
Movement
eating its own
signals of
tail.
relief. The market is headed for
And
a
as much as I love
precipitous
eating
crash.
ass,
Throughout January, investors placed
no
10
thank
times
you.
more bets on
Like-
American stocks falling than on their continued rise. A staggering shift that reflects growing unease over Wall Street's future under Trump's leadership. The timing of such financial revolt is no coincidence and comes just as the world witnessed a $600 billion wipeout in major U.S. tech stocks earlier this week, driven by fears over Chinese AI rival DeepSeek, which disrupted the once unshakable dominance of America's technology sector. All right, now let me pause here to point this out. This looks even more sketchy. All of these bets from the venture capitalists for the market to crash, this looks even more sketchy given what just happened with tariffs. Trump comes out and announces, that's it, we're doing tariffs on Mexico, we're doing tariffs on Canada, it's done, there's nothing you can do to stop it, it's for national security reasons, so Congress has no say, it's 25%, if they retaliate, I'll kick it up to 50%. He laid this all out there, clear as day. Canada comes out and goes, okay, we're just going to slap the same tariffs on you. We're just going to retaliate, tit for tat, eye for an eye, you do it to us, we're going to do it to you. Mexico, same thing. Oh, you're going to tariff us? All right, we'll tariff you, the exact same amount. Tit for tat, here we go. You want to play this game? We'll play this game. We don't want to do it, but you started it, so okay, I guess we'll do it.
Imagine getting in a
What
Mexican standoff
When he announces that,
with
he
your
announces
neighbor
retaliation,
out of nowhere.
boom.
And your other
Trump
neighbor
comes
comes
up
up and you
one
also
day,
get in a
plummet
Mexican
massively.
standoff with them.
Right? Now again, what is the title of this article? Hedge funds' massive bet on stock market crash raises
And you
alarm
do it
for
on a
401ks
national
and risks
scale.
ire of Trump. Right? How do we know this wasn't all planned from the beginning? Because at the last minute, what did Trump do at the last minute? After he announced the tariffs, after they announced the retaliatory tariffs, he goes, oh, I'm having a meeting with Mexico and Canada tomorrow. Then he comes out and says, hey, I made a deal with Mexico. They're going to send 10,000 troops to the border. They're going to block drug smuggling and immigrants coming in the country or whatever. And so therefore, we're going to pause the tariffs for a month. So, started the problem, caused the problem, at the last minute, claims victory and rolls back the tariffs. How do we know this all wasn't planned? That Trump and all of the MAGA robber barons in communication, hey, I'm going to say I'm going to do tariffs. I'm going to announce that I did tariffs.
A
probably
real
gonna
president
retaliate.
for the people
And
would
then at the last minute, I'm going to back off from it. But there's going to be a market crash. Bet on the market to crash and make billions of dollars right now.
would send the
short-term real quick
IRS on
over one
every
day's
billionaire in the country. They just
Look,
would.
if I'm being
They
honest
would.
with
They
you,
would audit
that
every
might be
billionaire.
Occam's razor in
Remember
this
when
situation.
Trump said he was getting
That might be
audited?
the simplest, most direct, most straightforward example.
And he never
They
released
ran
like the
another
results of it. He just
scam.
kept saying it for years.
It was another con.
And he just like
was the
overrode
same guy
anyone's interest
that
in
2
his
days before
finances
his
by just saying
inauguration
like, "I'm getting audited." He
ran
said it for like a
crypto scam on his own
decade,
supporters. Did a
like the
media
longest audit in human
tens of
history,
billions of dollars.
and yet like it amounted to
He
nothing.
shook
Like,
down his own
what the
supporters.
fuck?
How do we know that this wasn't the exact same fucking thing? Another scam that they worked on. Jesus Christ, bro. Now the article goes on. They talk about DeepSeek and all that stuff, but the bottom line is, this may have all been planned from the beginning. That everybody knew this is how it was going to go, which is why they made the best they made. Now, having said that, at the same time, we talked with Ben Norton about this the other week. The U.S. is in the biggest bubble in human history, even bigger than 1929, which led to the
Here's
stock
the
market
thing that
crash
people
we
need to
went
understand about this bubble.
And so
When this
there
thing
are other reasons
bursts,
to short the U.S. economy, not just to make this money in the short run if they were to
the wealthy
pull out
will
now,
not
but
suffer
also
any losses.
in the long run.
They will
again, if
all
that
be
effort
put
fails in the
onto
next 4 or 5
us.
years, big stock market
Like,
crash,
you're going to
probably
lose your 401k, you're going to lose
probably
housing, and I mean like
there's that angle as well.
housing will not become
that
a purchasable
even
thing
before
anymore.
this instance, even
It
before
will all be landlords. It will
what
all
just
be
happened with
rent,
tariffs,
corporate landlords and
over the
owners.
past year or so, you've had Bezos
Thiel
pulling
and
out
Musk
money,
will
you've had
buy
Bezos
up
pulling
their
out money,
own
you've had
real
others pulling out
estate
money 'cause they feel like, oh,
ventures.
yeah, this is gonna-
They
this is gonna
will
belly up.
lease property
So,
to you,
But here's the thing,
and you'll have to
when you look
work
at
for
something like
them
this,
to
and
live
you hear my
there.
theory I
You'll
just
get a
laid out,
stipend for free. Like, this
what
is how you
okay,
get back
somebody's
into
gotta investigate
slavery.
this.
Debt is
That's
the
what you're
pathway to
saying.
slavery.
Somebody's got to investigate this to see
Like,
if this was all a plan.
And we've
This
been
was all a
building
con,
it for
and they
years.
were just trying to make
This next
10 billion
crash,
bucks
this
going
next
out the back
bubble,
door,
the
right?
wealthy will lose
But
nothing.
here's the thing, guys.
You will
Scott
lose
Disick,
everything.
the venture capitalist.
And then
Who
they
doesn't
will
make
make
the
you their
minimum wage,
slaves. And
right?
remember, it's legal. This is the
he was
law.
put as the head of the
The
Treasury.
police
Trump
will
also
enforce
said, now
it.
you're
They
the
will
head of the
evict
CFPB.
you. They will call you squatters.
What's
They
the
will
CFPB?
tear up your
They're the
encampments.
scam police.
Like, you're being
They make
forced
sure
back into
big financial
slavery. They're just
institutions
taking the
don't run
long way
scams on
about
people.
getting
That's
there.
what they do.
Like,
Picture
yeah,
guy
no
who
one's
head
kicking
of
your
the
door in
CFPB.
right this
Guess what?
second.
He sends a
But when
memo.
you can't pay your
Full
mortgage and
movement
you
on
get
any
evicted
proposed
and
or
you have
final
nowhere to
rules and
go,
guidance,
no
suspend
way to earn a
effective
living,
on rules,
and the
do
cops
not
just get
advance
sent on you, you're
investigations
fucked.
And enforcement actions, no material agreements, and no public communication and reports. So in other words, this dude shut down the scam police. He just shut down the number one agency that cracks down on scams. He just handcuffed them
Oh,
completely.
yeah.
They can't do
The
anything. If you
CFPB,
were going to run a scam,
like, I used to be
where
in
you
finance.
and all your robber baron buddies
None
spent
of you
extra
have
$10
any
billion
idea
bucks
how
betting on
much the
market crash,
CFPB
Trump caused
protected
the
you,
temporary market crash.
how much it helped you, how many
Right?
scams it stopped you from being,
Wouldn't
like,
you also
screwed
at the same
by.
time say, hey, anybody
You never
who's gonna
knew because it
potentially
never
investigate us
happened
for
to
that?
you.
Sorry.
If the
We just
CFPB
acted
goes
them.
away,
There's no more
like,
anti-scam
you're
police.
fucked financially. You have no
Dude,
way
this
to
is dark,
stop
bro.
what is coming.
This is dark. It's like every day it's another con, it's another scam.
Yeah.
Like and it just
This-
feels like there's going to be no accountability and no justice. And nobody's even going to talk about it. You're going to hear about this here and that's it. Nobody else can talk about it.
I know, Kyle.
That's
That's
it.
why I'm watching your video and I'm
You're
trying to
here,
spread the word.
And
I
nobody will
don't.
bring it up ever again.
I'm trying,
And it's like,
man.
what am I supposed to do with this?
I'm
We're
on
being
kick.
run by fucking pirates.
Trying to get in the little
That's what's
algo
happening.
there. Get some of these
And it's never been more clear to
Zoomers
me.
in here
That's
watching
for
this
sure.
shit.
Hey y'all, do me a favor and like.
Should I
and
use what's
subscribe.
left of my
It helps
hair
out
and go
big
for a
time in the
broccoli cut?
algorithm.
Will that get you guys
Click
in
the bell
here?
as well for
Out of the
notifications
fucking
when
treasury?
videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now.
We
You
are.
want to.
Hold on. What am I finishing with? We're gonna do this one and then maybe the AFC one, and I'm calling it because I want to see what the fuck is going on with Sony.
The PS5 has sold at roughly the same pace as its incredibly successful predecessor. And that, of course, is ultimately what Sony is going to care about above most other things. But other than that one admittedly crucial metric for success, this generation of console gaming has been something of a mess
Horizon is
from the
good. It's not
PlayStation
Mario
perspective.
good yet.
Over the course
Like,
of
you
the
need to
last
pop out a
few
few
years,
more
Sony's
games and,
endured
like,
several
a few more
public
main
failures,
characters.
made a string of bad decisions, been caught in several controversies, and all around sparked the
They made a
ire
lot
of
of
its
terrible
audience
decisions.
way more than it has over the course of the PS4 generation. Where the PS4 was a golden age for PlayStation,
Oh, hell
on
yeah.
par with the PS2 days, and
I
in some
bought-
ways, even exceeding those great
Okay,
heights.
this will be the last
PS5
video
year-
because I'm going to talk. I bought a PS4 Pro, brand new. It was $400. It was a big purchase, big one. But it came with Red Dead Redemption 2 for free and a 20% off coupon for another PlayStation game. That's a fucking steal. I'll say this too: when I bought the 5 and I sold my Pro, I sold my Pro for like $250. So I like overall over the entire experience of owning it, I lost like $150. I kept Red Dead 2, but I bought the 5, and when you bought the 5 and you had a PlayStation Plus subscription, actually no, you didn't even need the subscription. If you bought the 5, you got the PlayStation Collection that you didn't need PlayStation Plus to use, and it was like 15 games, including God of War and shit, Persona 5, not Royale. With cheese, no. 15 games just came with it, and like, yeah, that was a good purchase. But the last like 3-4 years, and they'll get into it, like Sony's been fucking up.
Years have been way more stop-start. PlayStation continues to be successful. That much is undisputable given the impressive sales that the platform and its games
There's great
continue
games
to
on it.
enjoy.
Like if you're gonna buy a
And the
console, you're
money
gonna get a
that Sony rakes
PlayStation. You're not gonna get an
in, even if
Xbox.
it would like to be raking in more, as is ever the way of profit-driven businesses. But though sheer momentum, undeniable good hardware, and solid software support from the industry at large,
The VR2
have ensured
is amazing
the
also,
PS5 doesn't
but it
stumble
needs
in any
games.
significant way. Sony itself can't help but keep tripping over itself. Most recent in its long and ever-growing list of debacles is another pair of project cancellations.
Yeah,
First
canceling
reported
Days
by
Gone 2 was
Bloomberg's
dumb.
Jason
Was
Schreier,
dumb as
Sony's
fuck.
canceled SIE Bend Studios' live service open-world title, as well as the mystery project that Bluepoint Games have been working on in the years since the launch of the Demon's Souls remake. Worse still, that project was, of all things, a live service God of War spin-off. There's
Dumb.
obviously a lot
Just a
to
dumb
unpack
idea.
here. So
Terrible
let's take it
idea.
studio
Idiots.
by studio, starting with Bend. The developer of Days Gone has endured a torrent of bad luck in the wake of Days Gone's 2019 release. After the game failed to spark the sort of widespread critical acclaim that Sony clearly cherishes, a Days Gone sequel pitch was turned down, despite the first game's solid sales, with reports suggesting that the studio would be put to work on an unannounced Uncharted project. That project, too, was eventually scrapped, and in 2021, it was finally revealed that Bend had started working on a new open-world IP that would be utilizing a lot of the tech that the studio had built up with Days Gone. Now, that project has also been canceled in what seems like the cruelest possible twist for Bend. Bluepoint's situation, however, seems even more egregious somehow, and perfectly indicative of how disastrous Sony's decision-making
Hey,
has been.
Tanuvik, I just saw your
let's
message.
break
Are you a
this
real
down.
person?
After working with the studio on 2 acclaimed single-player remakes in the form
Plus,
of
I'm not really,
Shadow of the
like, on
Colossus,
Discord.
Sony decided to acquire
I am.
Bluepoint, following which
I'll,
it decided that, one, the best path forward for
if you're a real
Bluepoint,
person,
single-player studio,
say
was to work on a
something
live
else.
service game. And 2,
And
that
I'll-
live service game
I'll
should be
get
a
one together and
spin-off,
I'll
which
send you
sounds
a
like
thing.
An awful idea, no matter how you look at it. And 3, that they should wait until 2025 to finally cancel the project. Sony has assured that Bluepoint and Bend aren't going to be shut down as a result of these
Those
project
assurances mean
closures,
none of those
which is
assurances
silver
ever
lining,
mean anything.
surely.
Those are-
But that
those
doesn't
are
mean
always
there is
bullshit
going to be
assurances.
No collateral damage whatsoever. The company hasn't been able to assure that there won't be any layoffs, for starters. Meanwhile, both studios have wasted years of work and are now going to have to start entirely new projects from scratch, which, given the timing of everything going down, means that there's a good chance we see nothing at all from either studio on the PS5. We're more than halfway through this generation, and all signs point to the PS6 hitting shelves sometime in 2028. It's highly unlikely that
I don't
either
think I'll
studio
buy a
will be able to
PS6,
launch
like,
anything before then.
The
unless they
PS4
end up
Pro
reusing
was a
lot of the
great
work that
step
they've
up
done
for
on
me.
their freshly canceled
It was a
projects.
powerful. It was
And of
as
course,
powerful as you
all
could
of this
get
comes
without
down to
being like
Sony's misguided,
a
which
next
is
gen
the most
console.
charitable
In my,
description
I know
possible
the
for
X
it,
Series X,
push
whatever.
for live service
The
games.
Xbox Series X.
Seriously, that whole initiative could not have
I
gone
can't remember
any worse.
Project
By
Scorpio.
2023, Sony proudly
I know
claimed
that
it
was
intended to release
technically
12
more
live service
powerful,
games in the
but
next
like the Pro
3
did everything I
years.
wanted it
And though
to.
Helldivers 2 certainly
The
took the world by
5
storm last year,
had real
it's the
noticeable
lone spark
advancements,
in an
particularly in
otherwise
the SSD.
dire
Like
pool of
load
failures
times,
and premature
amazing,
deaths.
way better.
The Last of Us Online,
Um,
canceled. Bungie's Project Payback, canceled.
But yeah, a
Firesprite's
PS6,
Legend
I don't
Twisted
see
Metal
myself buying
reboot,
that.
canceled.
I mean, the PS5
Insomniac's Spider-Man
Pro
The Great
is
Web,
fucking
Canceled.
stupid. Don't
London
waste your money.
Studios
on
live service
If you
game
don't have a
canceled, and
PlayStation
the studio
and you
itself
have the
shuttered.
disposable income, get a
The
5
Mystery
Pro.
Deviation
If
Games
not, just get a
project
5.
canceled,
5s are great.
and
Even the
second-party
Slims, they're
partner
great.
studio shut down.
They're great
Blue Point's
consoles.
spinoff canceled, and Ben's
And
open world
PlayStation
game
Plus,
canceled.
I'll do a video about
And
that later.
then
I got
there's
opinions.
Concord, of course, which
I
is
got
the
opinions
biggest
on that.
first-party software failure in the history of the medium. Perhaps, certainly on the PlayStation side of things, with the game having had just 2 meager weeks on the market, which saw little to no foot traffic, before Sony decided to pull the plug and shut the whole studio down altogether. According to journalist Jeff Grubb, Concord's embarrassing failure was exactly what drove Sony to rethink yet more of its live service portfolio, which in turn led to the cancellation of Bluepoint and Ben's projects. On one hand, it's good that the company is responding to failures in the manner that you would want, because clearly live service projects are a huge risk, are being handed to
It's not
studios
just
whose
about
talents
responding to
lie
failures, it's about
elsewhere
responding
and
to
tend find it
successes.
much more difficult to win
And
over
like they've had
audiences.
time over time
But
again,
then you have to wonder
single
what
player
the point
successes.
of
Give
this
the
live
people
service
what they
push was
want.
to begin with. Sure, Sony
And like
claims
the
it's
idea
not
that,
pulling
that a
out
God
of
of
this
War live
space
service
just
ever
yet,
got
despite all the
greenlit
hits and
is
bruises that
baffling
it's
to me.
taken. Still, in
Like
the
that's
pipeline, for instance, are
whoever did that
Horizon
needs to be
Online,
taken out back and whipped.
Marathon, the unannounced Project Gummy Bears, and Fair Games. But how successful are those games going to be? Public opinion around Fair Games has been rough ever since its reveal, with suggestions that it could be headed down the same path as
Fair Games
Concord.
is going to fail.
Meanwhile, reports
Like,
have claimed that Marathon's development
I'm
is
not
going to
play it. If
and
I'm
that
going to
the
get
game
back into
itself
playing
is
something, I'm
in
going to be playing
rough shape
Helldivers 2.
behind the scenes.
Like nobody's
Clearly,
touching
things
Fair
are
Games.
far
Fuck
from
Fair Games.
peachy, even for the in-development live service projects at PlayStation that have survived the axe. An overwhelmingly large amount of people will be lining up with their "told you so" placards outside of PlayStation HQ, and you can't help but agree. After all, there's been no shortage of examples of companies face-planting in their efforts to grab a slice of the live service pie, and many an acclaimed single-player studio has met with a disastrous fate due to a foolish switch to live service. And yet Sony, in all of its wisdom, took a look at all of that and told itself, well, we can do it better. For a while, many of us were willing to give the company the benefit of the doubt, because after the immense success it had seen with its big-budget single-player offerings, maybe there was a chance that the company could indeed make huge strides in the live service space as well. Reality has reared its ugly head once again, however, and here we are once more. Yet another major company has realized all too late that it had made a huge mistake. Sony's gradual but inevitable U-turn.
The idea that they had 9 live service games in production is insane to me. If I want a game, I want to be able to pop it in, play, and then stop.
But it's an absolute
Like,
shame that we
gaming is not
waste
my
an entire
job.
console generation
Maybe
so
it will
Sony
be.
could try
God willing, that'd be
and fail to
nice.
follow trends
Be
that
nice
were
other
already
than the
starting to
capitalist
feel
hellscape, but
outdated
whatever.
when the company hopped on board.
But like,
And that'll be about it for this one. If you guys
yes,
like what we're
okay,
doing,
we're
at
done with the
Revolt, please
videos.
consider subscribing
Closing
to our
thoughts on today. Where was I? Gaming's not supposed to be a job. Some people get addicted to live services. I used to be big on some app games. I have one that I'm actually still in right now. Like that you log in daily, you get your rewards, yada yada yada. You know, there's that. It's nice to be able to be in control of the grind sometimes, and that's what people love about certain live service games. Other ones, it's like, yeah, I'm getting the daily achievements. I'm playing my Fortnite, my Marvel Rivals. It's like, yeah, no gamer is going to sustain 9 live service games, and there is not a big enough pool of gamers to sustain that. Again, Fortnite is Fortnite. Like, if you're going to compete with that, then you need to make one good game that can beat Fortnite. The problem is it already monopolized, like, all of the third-party media that it can get its hands on. Superman, Goku, Godzilla, they're all in there cocking and docking. So, yeah, you kind of missed out. Anyway. Alrighty, the videos I watched, they'll be re-uploaded to the YouTube channel. We're calling it for today. It's going to be a short day. I might do like Hours of Power. Like, let's go with that for right now. So this was February 4th's Hour of Power, gaming, politics, and Twitch drama. I hope you enjoyed. If you didn't, I don't know, eat my ass. Like, if you would enjoy it, like, what do you want from me? You're one person of nobody that's watching this, but I'm grateful you're here. All right, I'm gonna go take my mentally ill self to deal with some bullshit. Thank you for coming. and you have a great fucking day.